Instagram removed my painting. YouTube censored the thumbnail, not because it was violent, not because it was porn, but because it showed a female nipple. Painted, not even real. Soft, quiet, human. This is the artwork they don't want you to see. And right now, I'm on camera finishing this very painting, the one they tried to erase. Society has a complicated relationship with women's bodies. For centuries, we've often been the muse, the passive subject for male artists. But what happens when a woman takes the creative tools herself? When she looks inward to portray her own reality? Suddenly, art becomes provocation. Exploration turns into exhibitionism. Expressing the human condition becomes taboo. It feels like a digital battleground where art and equality are constantly under attack. There wasn't one dramatic moment, but a slow burn. A growing awareness fueled by casual comments dismissing women's experiences. The relentless media objectification. Our bodies treated as medical issues or sensationalized, rarely just human. So I began exploring female identity through my painting. I didn't want my art to be a protest, not at first. I wasn't trying to shock or be provocative for the sake of it. I was simply painting what felt real, my body, in stillness, in softness, in strength. Not sexualized, not hidden, not perfected by some external gaze, just seen. For me, it was about seeing myself as something beautiful, flaws and imperfections included. About finding contentment within my own skin. I wasn't thinking about who would see it. It was a feminist act in its quiet intimacy. A painting showing a woman existing for herself, painted by herself. A female body not as an object, but as a subject. And the moment I got censored, the moment my art was flagged and removed, I realized how radical that simple act still is. How threatening it is to some when a woman sees herself not through the lens of others, but with her own eyes. When she doesn't apologize for taking up space, for showing her skin not for attention, but for truth. That's when my art, my quiet self-exploration, turned into a rebellion. How could we, in this day and age, still be censoring women's bodies? Still automatically casting them as something sexual, something bad, something harmful? Platforms like Instagram and others justify the censorship by claiming they want to protect users, especially minors. But what message does that truly send? That a woman's chest, the very symbol of nurture for so many, is inherently dangerous? Isn't it absurd that we're trying to protect children from seeing breasts, the same breasts that might have nourished them? Our bodies are expected to be hidden, filtered, blurred, while actual violence, rampant misogyny, and toxic fake beauty ideals often get a pass. It's a blatant double standard, a digital muzzle effectively silencing women's artists and art about women's experiences. This is where the Free the Nipple movement becomes so crucial. It isn't just about flashing skin or a hashtag. It's about reclaiming space, challenging the historical over-sexualization of women's bodies, and confronting the way patriarchy has always policed our visibility. It started as a protest in the US, led by filmmaker Lisa Esco, back in 2012. Her film and campaign powerfully questioned the hypocrisy. Why were female nipples obsessively censored while male ones were, and still are, perfectly acceptable almost anywhere? The movement tapped into something deep, the cultural obsession with modesty, an obsession almost exclusively aimed at women, and the insidious idea that we exist primarily for others' consumption, not for our own expression. Because of these ingrained biases, female nipples are flagged, reported and removed, regardless of context. Even breast cancer awareness posts have been censored. Even activism, even honesty, even art. We've seen major platforms own oversight boards recommend ending discriminatory nipple policies, acknowledging their sexist application, yet art like mine continues to be targeted. When these platforms censor a nipple, especially in an artistic context, what they are really doing is silencing a perspective. They are sending a clear message. Your body, your version of femininity, your way of reclaiming yourself isn't acceptable here. They reduce it to a simple rule violation, but behind that rule is a very old, very tired story about shame, power, and control. I won't blur my body, not in real life, not in my art, because I'm not doing this for clicks or controversy. Because painting myself as I am is the most honest thing I can do. And if that offends someone, maybe it's not my body that needs rethinking. Maybe it's a lens we are all taught to see through. They tried to silence me, but instead they proved my point. Female bodies are still seen as too much, too exposed, too honest. But I won't stop painting them. I won't stop showing up for myself and for others. In fact, when I'm done with these final touches you're watching me make, I'm taking this painting and staging it in my living room for everyone to see. Because every unblurred nipple in art is a small act of resistance. Every censored image, every shadow ban makes the urgent need for change even clearer. So, if this resonated with you, share it, talk about it, create your own art, paint your own truth. Our stories deserve to be seen, unfiltered, unapologetic. Our bodies are not shameful, and no algorithm, no outdated policy will ever change that fundamental truth.